Well, he could deliver me coffee. I don't know. It's just
You're just gonna keep talking, or are you gonna bring us
I am
in?
gonna keep talking. Everybody, welcome back to Aces53 with Ed Parcaut and myself. So thank you for joining us today, Thursday. So sometimes we bring on a guest, someone's a special joker. Today it's just Ed and I catching up because I have an event here in a little bit. So we didn't have a lot of time for today. How you doing today, Ed?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. I excited. There's a VIP day today, and then I speak at the event tomorrow. So I'm gonna finish this up. We'll keep it kind of short today, and then I'm gonna pack up and head to the hotel.
All right. Yeah, because I just been doing this. I'm boring. I do the same thing every day now. Work on the app.
Work on the same app. Yeah.
Do business. Do this. But it's amazing what you can create now by yourself,
right.
And you're only limited by your imagination.
That's just it, and your ability to ask. That's you and I, and well, you talk about this a lot, is you don't have to be a coder anymore. You have to be an English major, a prompt, somebody who just knows how to ask the right question. So it's almost like you need to be an interrogator to learn how to elicit the information you want out of the GPTs or, Gemini, AI, whatever's out there.
I just wish, like Replit knows while you're working with them, that you could, do a loom of what you want to change, drop it in there, but they don't read MP4s. They only read, and that's the issue. Because I had so what you have to do is take pictures of what you're saying, drop it in. That's just the easiest way. It used to be able to say, take a snapshot, but then it's like, I want to be in build mode to do that. No, I don't want you in build mode to do that, because you'll just build it when you figure out you want to do something and you won't ask me.
I ran into what was the other one? I like how it'll do screenshots now. You can obviously upload. I'm doing do not disturb because it keeps coming in. Like I go and take a screenshot of the websites and stuff like that. But I tried to tell it go look at LinkedIn the other day, and it was like I don't have access to look at your LinkedIn. And I wasn't telling it to look at somebody else's. I was telling it to look at mine.
It doesn't have access. It's got to be logged in for that. Anything it has to be logged in for, it doesn't have access.
Right. And then the other thing is I was trying to update headshots, and so I said, hey. I want to go ahead and do a headshot for, I can't remember what it was. And it said, I'm not able to do likeness or something else. I'm like, but it's me. It's my headshot. And they're like, nope, we're not allowed to do that.
Are you talking about ChatGPT?
Yes.
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
It's not supposed to. Here's everything's getting more strict, like TikTok. Right. I think since they were taken over or being taken over by US company. So in the past, if you wanted an IPTV, you know what that is? That's where you can watch all the different movies. You go in there, you type it up, and it bring you all these things. Now it says, we can't show that because that's illegal, blah, blah, blah. Not all IPTVs are illegal. Some are actual legal ones. Not all of them are the bad ones.
Right.
So it's totally, So, we're talking about AI and everybody's talking about, I talked about this on Tuesday, I think, about how the Veterans Administration is using AI to go back after veterans to see if they did these DBQs, which is basically a letter from your doctor about what you're doing and if they were fraud. Well, I'm seeing that we're going to see more of that on everything going forward to check to see how we are doing things. So you also need to use AI to protect yourself the same way.
I think the biggest one will be IRS. Now, once they can connect into all the payment platforms, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, all those. I mean, it was already an issue before. So any transactions over $610 can be audited or something like that. And no, we're not financial professionals.
Or tax advisors, or
tax advisors, or people, medical doctors. But, I used to be in an industry that did a lot of financial transactions, and anything over 10,000 you had to report, for terrorist reasons, stuff like that. So I do agree with you. Now with AI able to not just do tasks that we do, but do research, it's going to be very, very interesting very soon to see like what people used to get away with on taxes that they can't anymore because the data's there. People would accidentally leave something off. And when I said accidentally, some people were accidentally, and other people
just leave it accidentally. Just leave it there.
But now those are going to be there, and that's the big question: is what will AI be set up to red flag? In IRS, when I went through my audit in 2017, one of the things that set off, I can't remember what it was, but in talking to an advisor, they said, oh, well, some people try and overdo their home office expenses. And so there's a lot of people who won't even list the square footage of your office in your home because like it's not worth the potential flag. Now there's going to be so many other parts of it, because they'll be able to check all the investments, everything else that's out there.
Well, they can check your square footage of your house online. It's easy.
Exactly.
Redfin, Zillow, any of them, you don't need an account for it.
Right.
I mean, I'm able to, with the app I'm doing, grab all these medical databases to help you write the information that you need so that you don't have to rely on those people who potentially could go, here's your letter. But that's not exactly me. That's okay. It'll work just fine. No, you can't do that. And I was telling somebody else, my industry, mortgage industry, is so connected with, fraud. Well, not fraud, but what you can't do legally. There's so many oversights. There's so many things you have to be responsible for. I'm just now glad that same industry is happening to the VA system so we can get rid of the bad actors in it.
Right.
And that's how I look. And plus it's at the perfect time of me to be doing this app because you have to protect yourself against what the VA is doing against you. So.
Sure. Well, and I want to change gears because we always talk about AI in our apps, but the event that I'm speaking at was a result of going and attending an event. So I always go, when I attend an event, I always go dressed up, like as if I was going to speak. And then I got there and their MC was out sick, and that left a 45-minute slot in their agenda. And they said, hey, and I happen to know the organizer. He's never seen me speak. I've never seen him speak, but we met at an event in Scottsdale in like June. And he goes, do you want to fill the spot? I said, well, I got to leave. I got to pick up my kid at 3. And he goes, we'll move you to right after lunch then. Because originally the spot was going to be like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And he bumped me up. And the whole reason I'm going to this event is going to be somebody was sitting in the audience who saw me, reach out and said, hey, we have another event in 2 weeks. Would you come and speak at it? And so that's one of the things you and I have been talking about is don't go just to see the speakers, but you never know who you're going to run into. And that event's led to, I'm going to be on stage with Tom Ziegler, which is Zig Ziglar's son, which I grew up listening to Zig Ziglar. We had in our junior high, there was an elective that you could take, and it was right after lunch, and they'd pop in the cassette tape and we'd listen to Zig and then talk about that lesson. So that one's kind of fun. It's with somebody else called Billy Cox, Thomas, several people. I've been posting this on Instagram the last week or two because it wasn't something that was on my radar. I wasn't supposed to originally speak at this event, even though it's here in Frisco, which is about 40 minutes from where I live. But just the whole idea that it all came in because I went to somebody else's event, but I went prepared. And so they're like, do you have your presentation on a thumb drive? I'm like, yep, here you go. And that's what I did. So you and I have been talking about, it's not just
what can you keep on your keychain or something? Is that what you do?
I carry my backpack everywhere. But yeah, but you and I have talked about it is, yes, learn AI. Yes, learn the apps, but you have to have your people skills and you have to be ready all the time because you never know what can get thrown in your lap.
No, because even though I'm doing what I'm doing, building out and doing everything I'm doing, it's to save time so that I can talk to people. I don't have to spend the time filling out applications. And it's the same thing I want to do. It just makes my life easier eventually.
Yeah.
Not building it. Building it doesn't make my life easier. That takes a lot of time. You say something and you let it work for 20 minutes and then you have to say something else.
And let it work
so hard.
Yeah. Why?
Actually, it's like the time you get upset. Well, if you're getting upset with it because it's not doing what you're telling it, it's because you're not explaining it right to it.
Oh, sorry. This is going to be a gripe session for a minute. So I've had State Farm since I was 16 years old, never had another insurance company. Well, I guess they changed platforms the other day, or like a month or so ago, and they broke out my renter's insurance versus my automotive insurance. Well, I've still been paying through my bank every month, the same way I've been paying for 20 years, same bank account. Well, shit, it's longer than that. I'm 30 years, right? And they sent me an email that said, you haven't made your payment. And I went and looked. I'm like, yeah, I did. So I called them. They're like, oh, well, you made it to the other one. We changed systems. I'm like, well, how is my bank supposed to know that? Well, you overpaid your renters and you didn't pay your automotive. I said they were grouped into one. I made one monthly payment. Oh, no, our system broke that out. So automotive went to one and renters isn't going to go to another one for probably till May. And I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Shouldn't you have told us?
Not only that, are your systems not smart enough to say, hey, with AI and everything else that's out there, hey, this payment that's been coming in from this bank account for this, forever. I know, but it's funny. You have these big companies that aren't using AI. And that's a simple task it could do. It could scan in and go, here's the account. This is the way it's been paid for over a decade. You know, if the money comes in, distribute it between the two accounts or do something. But
I got a gripe too, just like that.
Yeah.
Franchise tax board here in California. I owed a certain amount, so I wrote a check.
Yeah.
Oh, but that was for 2 separate years. You should have wrote one for this year and wrote one for this year. So now I have 1 year that has a huge credit, but they won't apply it to the other account for 6 to 8 weeks. And and it's like, we'll stop the interest on it. Really? Why can't you just transfer the damn stuff over? How hard is this? But that's the government agencies and the issue that we have, no matter where it is. And this is what I talked about on the show this week about how the reason we're not seeing the labor numbers go up, right? More jobs, more of this is because the government's not hiring.
Right.
The last administration, I'm not picking on them, I'm just making a statement. They were hiring so many people for the government. That's why jobs are increasing, not the private sector. We need private sector to increase because there's nothing worse than us working, getting taxed, and then they're making more government jobs to take that money. That's not what we want. We want private sector. Right. And that's the same issue that government is too big and it needs to have these systems in place to catch fraud, catch laziness, and all the other stuff. The things they're doing to us, we need to do to them.
Right. I agree. Well, that's the whole, I do think with AI coming in, also we'll start auditing like what we've seen across numerous years is that government funding was going to a lot of things that didn't really exist. Like, you know, somebody just did one, I saw an Instagram post about 32 businesses that all have the same business address in Dallas that are getting some type of government fund. And they all have the same suite number and the same address. And somebody said, why is there not a flag in the system to say that you can't have more than like, say 5 in there? And especially if they're all getting funding for something like that should even be a bigger red flag. Like I have a co-working space email box, or not email, but a mailbox, right? So I'm like number 187. Well, it's fine if you come and they all have the same physical address, but if they're down to the same suite number, there should be some type of system in there that says, hey, by the way,
it will. Yeah. That's what's coming. That's what AI is going to do. Make it to where it's harder for, you know, it's going to be above board on everything. You're going to be checked. Yeah. And that's everything that needs to be done with it. Right. But also remember, you're not going to be able to cheat on stuff and lie about stuff. And you're going to be watched all the time. Honey, yes, I'm over here. No, you're not. I can see by your phone. Well, I'm blocking my. Yeah. That's the thing. I miss the days where I could just leave the house with nothing.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Well, it's funny. I was talking about this with having a smaller kid. We used to come home, you know, when it was dark out, and now she walks a little bit down the street and I'm like looking like, okay, is she going to make it? Like one time I was staying at the ex's house and her piano was like a block and a half away. And I still like walk down to make sure she made it to the house. I'm like, my parents weren't that way, but we get so paranoid that even though Apple Watches and AirTags and everything else, it's crazy, but people are afraid to put AirTags on anything with their kids because then if they're with other adults, it tries to pair to their phone, and it's just a weird day and age we live in.
Yeah, and then all changed. But that's all because we watch too much TV and news.
Right.
Well, it's even like that thing that was going on with the mom of the person that got kidnapped or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Now I haven't followed it the last few days, but those things aren't going to happen as much as they happen because they want to be paid in Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin is not. You can't hide Bitcoin anymore.
Right.
They know about the wallets. They have the wallets. They track the wallets. They know the ones that have been done in bad things in the past. They keep track of those. It's not as secret, it's not as hiding like you used to be able to do.
Right. Because like I said, AI and tracking and real-time sources. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where everything goes. But kind of going back to what we talked about before, use it for good in as many ways as you can to help streamline everything you can, and then get into rooms and get around people again. This last couple months, like I'll be honest, like from August to October, business was dead. Like I had one or two things here or there. But as a result of going to Nashville, I met people who were then again in New York City who are getting me back out. I met a group who wants to get me to Canada. That's because of being in the room, not because of being online. So I know we're here, we talk about AI and everything else, but it's more important than ever to get in the rooms with people than it's ever been. because if you're not in the rooms and everybody's just pushing their AI version of themselves, and it's fun to play with AI photos and everything, but the big term for 2026 is a trust recession. And that's where we are today, where people don't trust what they see online. And they don't, especially if they don't know you and they see an AI photo, like what you were even joking, my new sizzle reel, you're like, is that an AI version of you? I'm like, no, that's actually me.
No, actually is. They must have used AI to cut it up and put a deal. I'm just telling you, because they look like your picture that you have on the event that's coming up or today, whatever. That is one of the ones you cleaned up with AI.
Right.
And I can tell there's certain things I can tell just catches my eye, because dude, that's just how I am in general. And I'm like, that was touched by AI. I can tell. My wife was a picture of me on one of my thumbnails, and she's like, that was touched by AI. I go, yeah, maybe. I don't know, because I don't do it.
It's funny. The one that was edited by AI, all that they took was the glare off my glasses, because it was like this, where there was a glare because of the ring light, and I forgot I had my glasses on.
Yeah, but that's your face is a little bit more cleaner. I'm just telling you. I'm sorry.
Maybe. No, you're talking about on the video.
The two pictures. No, I'm not about I know, but I'm talking about the pictures you're talking about. Not the video, but the actual pictures. If you look at the two pictures together, you're going to see the face a little bit cleaner. That's the same thing I saw on that video. Is because I saw somebody made a video like he was with all the stars on all the different sets.
Yeah.
And it looked really clean, like it really happened. And that's what you have to be worried about. Go back to the trust thing. And that's why use AI to do tasks that you don't want to do and certain things. That way you can be in front, like Brian is saying, in front and center, and focus on people, not focus on doing the work, but focus on them and know that you're there for them. That's what you need to be. That's what's so important about it.
Well, and going back to what you were just saying about AI and altering something, somebody got into it and they completely misunderstood what I was saying. They posted something and said, hey, go watch the videos of this event. And I said, rule number one should be, don't trust a video unless somebody was there or someone who was actually there. I said, you can look at videos, but be careful what you watch, because the algorithm knows what you lean towards, and it's going to show you a video that it thinks reinforces your belief. And the person got all upset and said, I wasn't reading the room, and, I should pay more attention. And I wasn't disagreeing with them about the subject. I was just saying, be careful. A lot of people watch one video and they think that's it. Oh my God. I'm like, no, do your research like anything else, multiple sources, look at things from multiple angles. But even then, AI will only get better and better. And we're going to have to learn to distrust it instead of trust it right away.
Right. But there'll be guardrails put on it. There'll be things that happen. It's the same thing that we do on everything. It goes so far one way and comes back to where people are not going, just like you said, trust. It's going to be gone. They want to verify, because a lot of the stuff we do is big numbers. But that whole thing there, Brian, was just you trying to get more views.
Right. That's right. No. I did talk to a guy in New York who he's heavily into AI. I mean, he's big time into AI. And one of his predictions is that there will be a social media platform that will say you are not allowed to use any AI, period. Like when you join it, it'll be, it'll have all the things looking for meta tags, looking for everything else. And it will have to be 100% real content that's not altered by AI. So it'll almost be like, when ChatGPT came out, schools invested in how to tell if students were using ChatGPT. So he thinks that will be the next Clubhouse, large social medias. People get so tired of seeing everybody's nano banana version picture and all that stuff that people will flock towards one that's completely different.
Yeah, I just think they're all going to do that.
Yeah.
I just think they're all going to get to a point where people are like, oh, we're tired of this because this is all we see out here. And they're going to see a watch thing drop.
I do think some of it's fun to see. Like, it looks like this past week's trend has been the cartoon version of like, what's my day job? And it puts everything in the background. So for me, did you see Chris Casamas's example of it? Okay.
Dude, so I have no time for this week. So
I got you. His is good. It's like him on stage, him on like at a dojo, which he owns. He owns several. And then him as Scorpion in the movies, and then him being a public speaker. And it did really fun cartoon versions. And that's what it seems like it's been the last 2 weeks, is everybody doing a cartoon version of themselves in AI. That kind of stuff I'm all for. It's when people are trying to show like, oh, this is really me, and it's not really them, that's what's going to cause more of the trust recession stuff.
Right. Well, if you're doing videos that you're supposedly you and you're talking about things and it's all AI or whatever else, that's what people are going to get tired of. I did a Muppet version of me that was funny as heck, man. It was so funny. I sent it just to my wife. I'm not going to post it out there, but just one of those things. And again, that stuff is great and everything, but that's not what you should be using it for. You need to be using it to make you more productive. What's the word? Productive. Thank you. And that's how you should use it all the way. Because I even think, because I still think High Level and a bunch of other places, because of the SaaS and what we are able to create, that all that stuff's going to even slow down and get cheaper.
Right. Well, everything. That's why people who work at big companies should be scared. Especially if you're in sales and it's based on what commission is like. I just talked to somebody who was I talking to the other day? Last year, their commission sales were like 10 million. And then now this year it's 20 million, and they doubled what he has to hit in 2026. And he's like, yeah, I sandbagged a little bit. And so now, I easily met the 10 million last year. But I think it's going to be a challenge for a lot of people because we're going to see a lot of costs go down. And that has a ripple effect throughout companies. So that's one of the things, if people aren't paying attention, they're just saying, well, I'll use AI, my job will get easier. What's going to happen is layoffs are going to be coming, or salary reductions will be coming.
Layoffs are coming already.
Right. But
They're
I'm saying even the ones, right. But even people who get to stay, a lot of companies are saying, hey, we're doing a reduction in salary. And the problem is, and I'm guilty of this, I did it when I was in corporate America, we spend the amount that we make. We get another raise. Okay, let's buy more crap. I did that. I was living in a house that I didn't want, with things I didn't want because I wanted to make my wife happy, all that crap. And we were spending traveling, and that part made me happy. Yeah. Well, I remember seeing that commercial when I was a kid, the guy riding on the lawnmower, he's like, I've got this and this, and I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. I'm like, damn, I'm that guy. But that's going to be the challenge, is people live up to their salary level. And when that salary goes down, what are they going to do?
Yeah. Well, this is the Industrial Revolution, but with AI and other stuff. So it's going to make some major changes. Other things are going to come out from it. You just need to learn certain things and move forward on it. And don't worry about what's going to happen. Just focus on what you can do about it. Because right now, they talked about this week that there is 30% more real estate agents than actual listings or transactions out there. Wow. So, but that's saying that everyone has one. It doesn't work that way. 10% of the agents do 80% of the business.
That's what I was going to say. I saw a stat that said something like
50% more than we need is what my stat is. Yeah.
What did I see? There was some amazing statistic of how many people never sold a single house last year. It was like 30%, something like that.
Probably more than that.
Yeah. It was a high number.
50, 60%. Yeah, because somebody else was saying that. My co-host this week was trying to get that words out like that, and I couldn't understand what he was talking. Are you saying that Homes.com said that they didn't sell anything, or Homes.com couldn't sell anything? It was the people who would buy the leads on there. No, it's all about. Even I did decent this last year, but compared to other people, I did amazing. But to me and what I need and what I'm trying to do, because I'm putting all my money back into what I'm doing with this, so that's the difference.
Makes sense.
Are you ready to go? Is that it?
Sure. Yeah.
We'll go. We're 23 minutes.
Yeah. We'll have to talk because next week I got a gig on Tuesday, so I think I'll be done, and it's a local one here, so I should be done in time.
We'll talk about it offline.
Yeah,
we need to know our stories.
Yeah, they do. No, they want to know if I'm going to be here, Ed. How dare you?
They always want you. They don't care about me. And actually, what's weird is so I was getting a ton of views. Like 10 times the normal amount of views on our morning daily. And then this week it's a lot less. It's weird. So weird. Yeah.
It's because everybody's hung over from the Super Bowl, Ed. Don't worry. It'll pick up. It'll pick up.
I was just surprised. First of the year, man, so many, and stuff. And then now it's like, what happened? Anyway, what are you going to do? There's so many I'm looking at podcasts, and everybody wants to start a podcast. All the stars have started podcasts. All those people started podcasts. And so now you're competing not only against other podcasters, now you're competing against
celebrity podcasters. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
I'm just hoping that they all fall apart.
They will, unless they have teams that do it for them. That's the thing. We just assume that stars are smarter than most people. No, they just have better people behind the scenes doing stuff.
They have money. They have money.
Exactly.
To do that. That's the difference.
Right. So
they have money to pay people to do all that work.
Exactly.
That's the difference. But but the problem is that it's not going to help me for my business. It's not going to help me for this. Those people, they're not in the same industry as me. They don't do the same thing as me. It's totally different. And that's how you have to look at it. You don't need millions of followers to make really good money with a podcast.
Right. I talked to somebody who has 1,700 followers. That's it. And they make mid 6 figures.
Yeah.
You know,
it's because they sell to them. It's their clients. And that's the best one. Don't care about downloads. Don't care about that. Care about who you're trying to do it for. And that's the thing we're changed on Helping the Brave, because I've been interviewing veterans for the last 4 years. And once I moved it out from underneath me, which I had a lot of followers and stuff on YouTube, but I'm like, I need to separate it out. And it's like, no one's subscribing anymore.
Yeah. Because people just go and view things. Yeah. Right.
And so
that's why you know how to set up the link, right? So when they click on your link, it auto subscribes them.
No, I don't.
I'll send that to you.
I didn't know you could do that.
Oh yeah, let me. I'll have to
send that to me, because I got to do that, because I got a lot of people watch my stuff.
Yeah, I'll do that right now before I forget. So YouTube.
All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye.
Take us out.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate you. If you like what we do here, subscribe on our Aces53 channel on YouTube, and we won't auto make you do it. All right. Make it a great day. We'll be back on Tuesday. Have a great weekend and a happy holiday. All right. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, Brian.